So our today topic is contraceptives or birth control measures. So what are the characteristics of an ideal contraceptive? First and the most important is that it is easily available. Second, it is user friendly so that anyone can use easily. Next, it should be effective. Its function is to prevent unwanted pregnancy, so that function should be accomplished. That's why it is called a effective one. Next, it should have least side effect or no side effect. And the last is that it should be cheap. It should not be too much costly. So these are the characteristics of an ideal contraceptives. First method is a temporary or spacing methods, and these are used to postpone or to space the birth between child. So what are these temporary methods? First is a natural method. And in natural method, first method is a safe period or rhythm method. So what is a safe period? A week before and after the menstrual, that is the vaginal bleeding, is considered a safe period for intercourse. So we have to avoid the intercourse during the 10th to 7th day of menstrual cycle, because on 14th day ovulation takes place, and this ovulation can vary. It can also occurs on 11th day, it can also occur on 17th day. That day is not fixed, it can vary. That's why it is preferred to prevent the intercourse during 1 week during this ovulation. So our safe period for that is our 1 week before the vaginal bleeding and 1 week after the menstrual bleeding. That is called our safe period. But this method, that is a safe period, has high rate of failure because the menstrual cycle period is not fixed. It can vary due to some hormonal changes. That's why it has chances to be failure. Next is a coitus interruptus or withdrawal method. In this method, we are going to avoid the sperm deposition inside the female reproductive tract, that is our vagina, by the withdrawal of penis before the ejaculation. That is called our coitus interruption or withdrawal method. But this method has also one drawback. What is the drawback? That before actual ejaculation there is some fluid discharge, and that fluid can contain some sperms, and that can lead to the fertilization or a pregnancy. So this natural method, that is a coitus interruptus, has also his drawback. It is also not that much successful or efficient method. Next and the third method of natural contraceptive is a lactational amenorrhea, means absence of menstruation. What is the meaning of this amenorrhea? That is absence of menstruation, because during this lactation period, when the mother is feeding a child, at that time no menstruation cycle takes place, and it is proposed, or you can say it is suggested, that it will be there for 6 months after the childbirth. But again, it has a drop. Sometimes the menstrual cycle begins before 6 months, so there will be a chance of pregnancy again. So it is also not an efficient one. So these natural methods are not efficient process. Next is our barrier method or mechanical method. In this, we are going to provide a barrier or physical barrier between the sperm and the ova, so that they are not able to fuse together. They will not come in contact with each other, so there will be a very less chance of the fertilization. And these are available for both males and the females. So what are these barrier methods? First is our condom. These are available for both male and the female. So in case of male, these are used to cover the penis, that is the external genitalia, during the copulation, and it is a thin rubber sheath that covers the penis, and it is popularly known by a name that is a nirod. And in case of female condom, it is called famidom, and its purpose is to cover the vagina. And these are single used and disposable. And the most important characteristic of these condoms are that they are going to protect you from the STDs, that is sexually transmitted diseases. Next is a diaphragm, cervical caps and the walls, and these are available for only females. These are reusable, and we need some spermicidal creams, jellies. Cidal means killing. We are going to kill the sperm, so we need some spermicidal creams, jellies. These have to be used along with this diaphragm, cervical caps and the walls. These are dome-shaped structures. Again, they are formed of a rubber, and these diaphragms and the caps are going to cover the cervix during the copulation. So if you remember the structure of our female reproductive system, so this is our vagina, and this one is our cervix. This is our uterus. So condom is going to cover this part, this vaginal part, and these diaphragms and the cervix are going to cover this part, that is our cervix. So in case of these diaphragms and caps, there will be no protection against these STDs, because there will be a contact between the male and the female external genitalia, because this part, that is our vagina, is not covered. So it is not going to provide the protection against the STDs. So here you can see these are condoms. It is a male condom and it is a female condom. So it has two ends, one is open and one is closed. So these are condoms. Next is our diaphragms. These are dome shaped structures. These are our diaphragms, and these have to be used with gels or the creams. Next is our cervical caps and the walls, and these have a thick borders, so they can easily fix in the cervix. These are the chemical methods. These are spermicidal forms, creams, sponge. So these will come under the chemical method. These are our pills or the physiological methods. Next is our IUDs. So these IUDs are one of the barrier method, and these are called the intrauterine devices. These again available only for the female. These are made up of plastic or metal objects, and only trained doctors can place these IUDs into the uterus. As the name suggests, intrauterine, they are going to be placed inside the uterus. These are most effective contraceptive. The effectiveness is approximately 99%. And these IUDs can be of three types. First is a non-medicated one. These are developed for the first time. So these are called the non-medicated. They are simple IUDs. And what is the most common non-medicated IUD? Peace loop, and it is a double S loop. So it will look like this. So it looks like this, and it is going to fix in the uterus. And what is the function of these IUDs? They are going to attract the macrophages in the uterus cavity, and that will lead to the phagocytosis of the sperm. When the sperm enters, tries to come upward and reaches the uterus, at that time macrophages are there, and they are going to kill these sperms. So that is their function, how they work. Next is our copper releasing IUDs. They are developed after these non-medicated, after some improvement, and they are called copper releasing because these IUDs are going to release copper ions, and these copper ions are going to reduce the sperm motility and also the fertilizing capacity of the sperm. They are going to attach to the sperms and stop or inhibit their movement, and also reduces the fertilization capacity. And they are known by different names like copper T, copper 7, multilord 375, and their name is given according to their shape. What is their shape? And the last and the most advanced IUDs are hormone releasing. These IUDs are going to release different hormones. So what are their examples? First is our LNG20, second Mirena, and third is our progesterone. So what are these hormones and what changes they are going to do in the uterus? So these hormones are progesterone, estrogens, and these hormones make the uterus unsuitable for the implantations. They are going to prevent the implantation if the fertilization has takes place. So they will make the conditions unfavorable for the implantation, and the cervix also becomes hostile for the sperm. The sperm will be killed as it reaches in the cervix. So how will make the implantation difficult or unfavorable? By thinning out the endometrium. Naturally, if pregnancy is to be there, so the endometrium layer becomes thicken and thicken during the entire menstrual cycle and during the entire pregnancy. But these hormones are going to thin out that endometrium. If that endometrium is thin, then the fetus or the embryo which comes from the fallopian tube is unable to implant in the endometrium. And second, what they do, they thicken the mucus in the cervix, and that thickened mucus prevents the sperm to enter in the cervix. But these IUDs are effective, but they have also some side effects, you can say. First, the chances of infection. Here the infection can occur because these IUDs are external or foreign to the female body. So there is a chance of some infection, and sometimes some occasional bleeding occurs between the menstrual cycle. So these are the side effects of these IUDs. So here you can see this is our female reproductive tract, and this is our uterus, and this is our IUD. So these are placed like this. You can see this is a hormonal one, this is a copper IUD, and they will perform their function. Next is our chemical method or spermicides. So spermicide means sperm killing. These chemicals are going to kill the sperm. These are again available for the females, and these chemicals introduced in the vagina before the intercourse, and they are going to immobilize and kill the sperm. And what is their constitution? They contain lactic acid, citric acid, boric acid, KMNO4, because the sperm needs basic environment, but the constitution of these chemical is acidic, and that is naturally going to kill the sperms. So these can be available in the form of foams, jellies, creams. And what are their famous examples? Today is a foam and Dalfin is a cream. So these are the chemical methods. So next is our physiological or oral methods. So these are available in the forms of pills which can be taken by the female orally. So these are called the physiological or oral pills. And these pills inhibit the ovulation. They prevent ovulation. And if ovulation is not there, if there is no ova, so there is no chance of pregnancy. And they also prevent the implantation. So these are different types of pills. They contain different constitution, and according to their constitution, their function will be different. Some will prevent the ovulation, some prevent the implantation. If fertilization takes place, they will prevent the implantation, similar to the hormonal IUDs. And some thickens the cervix mucus, that will prevent the entry of the sperm inside the cervix. So their function is similar to the hormonal IUDs, because these are hormonal one except one. These are also effective one, but they have some side effects like weight gain, slight blood loss between the menstrual cycle. So what are their types? First is a mini pills, second is a combined pills, and the last is a non-steroidal pills. So first two, that is our mini pills and the combined pills, are steroidal type because they contains hormones. So mini pills contains only the progesterone hormone, and it is a 21 days pill. It has to be started after the first phase of menstruation. After the menstrual bleeding, these pills has to be started. So that's why these are called the 21 days pills. These are combined pills, as the name suggests. These are a combination of hormones. They contain both progesterone and the estrogen. They are again 21 days pills, and most common and famous is our Maladine. The last is our non-steroidal pills or non-hormonal. It is a non-steroidal, but it contains a chemical that is a sandcromin, and it is a once a week pill. It has to be taken one in a week. That is why it is a once a week pill. And the most important thing, it is developed by India, that is by CTRI Lucknow, and it is anti-estrogen. Its function is against the estrogen, and estrogen is responsible for the follicle development, and that follicle after development are going to release the ova against the estrogen, so they will prevent the ovulation. Next and the last temporary method is our other type of methods, and in this we will discuss two. First is our subcutaneous implants. They are going to implant under the skin in the upper arm above the elbow region, and these are thin matchstick like or needle like sticks, and they again contains the hormones. They are going to release the hormones, and they are effective for 3 to 4 years. Once implanted, so they will remain effective for 3 to 4 years, and they release the progesterone hormone slowly and slowly. So their function will be again similar to the pills. And what are their famous example? Etanogastrel and the Implanon. So these are subcutaneous implant, and they will effective for 3 to 4 years. Next is the emergency contraceptive or the morning after pills. So if you are not taking any pill or not using any barrier method, nothing, and if you can say if during the sexual intercourse, if you think that fertilization has taken place, so you can take these pills after that, but you have to taken that within 72 hours. After the intercourse, you have to taken within the 72 hours, otherwise their effectiveness will be less, and they will again contain the progesterone hormone, and they are known by name pill 72, I pill, and the levonorgestrel. And the last and second type of method is a permanent or surgical or termination, and they are also called sterilization method, and these are going to block the gamete transport. They are not allow the sperm and the female gamete, that is the ova, to reach to a particular destination. They are going to block that transport. So you can see here, this is our male reproductive system, and this is our below is our this is our testes, and they are going to produce the sperms, and it will travel through this epididymis into this vas deferens. So we are going to cut this vas deferens and tie it up so that no healing takes place, because they can join and heal. So to prevent it, we are going to tie up after the cutting. So now the sperm will remain here. It is not able to pass into this upper part of this vas deferentia. So it is called our vasectomy, because we are going to cut this vas deferens. Next is our tubectomy. In tubectomy, you can see these are ovaries, and these ovaries are going to release the ova, and that ova is catched by this fimbriae and transport into the fallopian tube. So we are going to cut these fallopian tubes and again tie these fallopian tubes, and again our sperm is traveling here and it reaches. So sperm is traveling here and reaches here, but it is unable to reach in this region where the fertilization has to take place. So it is unable to meet the ova. So these are the different methods of birth control or different methods of contraceptives. So in the next we will discuss the remaining aspects of reproductive health.